I cover all the objections, all the questioning, you know, in that in-home. And then once I cover all of those questions and all of those objections at the end, when it's time to actually go into asking them for the sale, it's not a hard sell because we've already covered all of those objections up front, right? So before I go into the in-home, I'm gonna go ahead and actually go into a phone script, right? So you guys can have an idea of how I book my final expense appointments, right? So I'm gonna say, ring, ring. Hey, Miss Mary. Hi, Miss Mary. This is Letticia McKinley. I'm giving you a call here on behalf of the Senior Benefits Center. I was just getting back in touch with you here in reference to the form that you filled out on Facebook and you put in your favorite hobby is reading. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. And your date of birth, Miss Mary, is 1/22/68. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. Okay, Miss Mary, well, my job here is just pretty simple. I'm just the field underwriter assigned to get this information out to you. And with these plans, Miss Mary, you don't have to worry about, you know, like going to the doctor or doing any tests or any exams. All we have to do is just to make sure you're not hooked up to a hospital bed, okay? Okay, and they always chuckle at that point in time. All right, cool, Miss Mary. Now, are you still working, Miss Mary, or are you retired? You're retired? Okay, perfect. Now, being that you're retired, do you have any doctor's appointments scheduled for this Wednesday? No? Okay, all right, perfect. So, Miss Mary, is there any reason you wouldn't be home this Wednesday morning between 10 and 11 a.m.? No, there won't be a reason? Okay, perfect. All right, Miss Mary. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and jot you down in my schedule for this Wednesday morning between 10 and 11 a.m. Please make sure that you look out for me, okay? But let me also just verify real quickly, Miss Mary, your address, just to make sure I have it correct. Are you at 123 Spring Street? Okay, perfect. And will I see that 123, will that be on your mailbox or will that be on your house, Miss Mary? That will be on your mailbox? Okay, perfect. And what color is your house? It's a greenhouse? Okay, great. Do you know, Miss Mary, if you have any cars parked in your driveway or will it be parked in your garage? You'll be parked in your garage? Okay, that's perfect. So is it okay for me to park in your driveway then? It's okay for me to park in your driveway? Okay, great, Miss Mary. So if you could just look out for me, I'll be in a little silver car. I'm gonna make sure that I have an ID badge around my neck. That way you can verify my identity and my credentials. And also, I'll be making sure that I'll be wearing a mask to protect my face. And that way you can also easily identify me as well, okay? All right, perfect, Miss Mary. So I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday morning between 10 and 11. Okay, great. All right, awesome, Miss Mary. See you then. Okay, perfect. So that's pretty much my phone script, guys. And the goal is to always to make sure that you're going through the phone script without pausing, right? It's always, you know, questions, answer, questions, answer, questions, answer. There shouldn't be any dialogue from the client. If you're having them dialogue too much, then they're in control and you're the doctor, you should be the one in control. So always making sure that you're not having them, you know, having a conversation with you. You're the one that is setting the tone and you're the one that's setting the control over the phone, okay? All right, so into my in-home, right? So as I explained to you guys earlier, I have six simple steps for final expense success. And I believe that if you follow these 6 simple steps, you will hardly have any pushback at all when it comes on to getting the sale, because I'm going to go ahead and show you how I go about overcoming all the objections that I'll have before I go into the sale itself, right? So these simple steps are: first, the trial close. Second is the introduction. Third is the why. Like I'm figuring out, like why I'm there. The fourth step, I'm building the value over the price. So I'm always building value. Fifth step is going over the benefits of the plan. And then the sixth step is, of course, the close, right? And so I have my first, of course, when I'm going into these clients' homes, I have my ID badge pretty visible around my neck. And so when I go into the homes, I'm always going to make sure that I show them that ID badge. And I don't build that much rapport. The only rapport I will build is, pretty much just asking them, where they're from, because I like to figure out like where people are from. That's actually a genuine curiosity of mine. And then a lot of people here that are local here in Georgia, they'll be like, if they're from here, I'll always ask them, okay, so are you like a Grady baby? And then they'll always die laughing because they're like so proud. Like it's a huge thing here to be from, to be born in a Grady hospital. So, if they say that, and then we break the ice there. And I'll tell them a little bit about myself and that I'm not from here, I'm from Jamaica, that kind of thing. So we kind of exchange that right there. And that's pretty much how I build value. How I break the ice to get them comfortable and how I set rapport. And that's all the rapport building that I do. So after I go into that, guys, I show them a copy of my state license, and I either take it off from around my neck and I'll hand it to them and I'll be like, hey, this is a copy of my state license. I just wanted to show you guys so that you could see that I am a licensed agent in the state of Georgia. Okay. Now, pretty much, I'm guessing, Miss Mary, that you're looking into getting some burial coverage. Is that correct? And Miss Mary will always say yes. If Miss Mary then says that no, she's not looking for burial coverage, she's looking for car insurance, she's looking for whatever it is that is not life insurance, then I'm going to address that right there and then. So I'm going to say, like, why is it that you're looking for that and not this? Because this is what you fill out online for, right? So if that's what her concern is, car insurance, and I can't help her with that, it makes no sense that I'm there and I have 8 other families to see. So then I'm on to my next appointment. I'm on to my next home, right? So if she, of course, says yes, that she is looking for burial coverage, okay, great, Miss Mary, perfect. All right. Now, as I explained, Miss Mary, I'm an independent insurance broker, right? I work for about 25 different companies. So pretty much what I do, Miss Mary, is that I do the shopping around for you. And I try to find you a company that is going to offer you the most coverage for the lowest cost. Does that make sense, Miss Mary? Yeah? Okay, great. Now, what I'm gonna do, Miss Mary, I'm gonna take about 5 minutes because with this plan, we have to find you a company that's going to qualify you based on your age and based on your health, okay? And also find you a company that's gonna be suitable for your budget, right? So I'm gonna take about 5 minutes just to ask you a few health questions, another 5 minutes just to ask you a few financial questions to figure out your budget. And then I'm going to make a recommendation as to what company is going to be best suited for you, right? Now, if we do find you a company that's going to be best, what we're then going to have to do is to fill out an application, right? Send it into the underwriters. Then the underwriters are going to get back to us, Miss Mary, and then they're going to let us know if you'll be approved or if you won't be approved for that coverage. Okay, great. All right, perfect. All right, Miss Mary. Now, most of my clients that filled out this information, they fill it out for, one of three reasons. So the first reason is, of course, they don't have any coverage at all in place. The other reason is that they already have some coverage in place, but they don't have enough coverage. Or third, they want to just leave back something behind as a legacy for their kids or for their grandkids, Miss Mary. So which one of those categories would you fall under? And say, she's going to say that she doesn't have any life insurance, right? So if she doesn't have any life insurance at this age, so say Miss Mary is like 68 years old. At 68 years old, guys, if you've gone through life without having any life insurance, it's like one or two reasons, right? So the first one is either, Miss Mary has been procrastinating all her life, right? Or the second reason typically is because they can't get coverage because of health reasons. So I need to figure out what that reason is, because I'm going to tailor my appointment to fit those either two. So if she says that she's been procrastinating all her life, then I'm going to say, well, Miss Mary, I'm guessing that you're done procrastinating now, right? Is that the reason why I'm here today? And she has to agree with that, right? Or if she says it's because of some kind of health reason, then I'm going to say, okay, Miss Mary, I do understand, I'm sorry for you not being able to be approved for coverage in the past. However, I work with about 25 different carriers, and we've been able to find anyone that has any pre-existing condition. We've been able to find them coverage to put something in place, okay? So, rest assured that today I'm gonna do my due diligence to make sure that we find you something to put in place, right? And so say, that's before she has no coverage in place, right? So then I'm gonna say, okay, Miss Mary, so then who would be the person, right, that's going to be picking up the pieces in the event you just don't wake up tomorrow? And she's going to say, well, that would be my daughter, Carla. Okay, so does Carla live here in Georgia? No, she lives in Tennessee. Okay, so I'm guessing then that Miss Carla, she already has her family out there in Tennessee. She has her job. She has her work. She has, her life going on. Yeah. So I'm guessing then, Miss Mary, is it that you just don't want to leave behind that burden on Miss Carla? Yeah, because I'm guessing Miss Carla could not afford to come out of her pocket to pay $15,000, $20,000 to cover your burial expenses right now. Is that correct? Yeah. So I'm guessing then that's the reason why I'm here. Yeah. Okay. All right. No worries, Miss Mary. So then I'm going to pull out my client worksheet. Kaylee, could you grab me my green folder? It's in my bag. So I'm going to pull out my client worksheet, and then I'm going to ask her those questions that's on my client worksheet, right? So then I'm going to say, okay, Miss Mary, so what medications are you currently taking right now? And she'll say, okay, I'm taking medicines for high blood pressure, medicine for arthritis, medicine for diabetes. So I'm going to ask her specifically what those medications are. I've been doing this for a little while. So if you say high blood pressure, I'm going to say, well, is that lisinopril or losartan, or, like I already know, right? So I'm going to write that down. And then I'm going to be like, okay, so what other medications are you taking? Do you mind going to grab those for me, right? And then she's going to come back and she's going to bring back all the list of her medications, right? So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to write all of the medications that she's currently taking on my client worksheet. If she's taking, if she's taking a medicine on the client worksheet that I don't know what that medication is for, then I am going to Google that medication. And that medication might say, okay, she's taking that medicine for like irregular heart rhythm or whatever the case may be. So then I'm gonna make a note of that on my client worksheet, right? And then after I ask her all the medication that she's currently taking right now, then I'm going to distinguish and ask her what medication has she taken in the past that she's not currently taking right now, right? So she's going to give me a list of all, well, she's going to say, well, you know, I used to take another medicine for high blood pressure back then. Okay, great. All right. Any other medication that you can think of that you used to take but you're no longer taking? Okay. And then what about any history of any heart trouble, any history of stroke, any history of cancer, any history of like COPD? Because those are like the 4 knockout health concerns. So I'm going to ask her about those as well. And then she'll let me know, right? So then when I get the health information, then I'm going to go into her finances. So, okay, Miss Mary, so how much are you bringing in from Social Security? She might be bringing in $800. Okay, and then do you receive a retirement as well? Yeah, she's bringing in $1,200 from that. So she's bringing in a total of $2,000. So then I'm going to say, Miss Mary, well, out of this $2,000, most of my clients have 50% going out for their expenses. Is that about the same for you? And she'll say yes or no. If she doesn't know, guys, I am going to take my time and step by step figure out how much of her income is going out, because I want to know how much is left after, because that amount that's left after, that is what we're going to designate to the life insurance, right? So after we calculate everything, I'm going to be like, okay, Miss Mary, so you have about $300 left after you're covered all your bills. Okay. All right. Perfect. So you have a little bit of breathing room left after. Okay. Perfect. Now, Miss Mary, do you want to be buried or do you want to be cremated? And she's going to say, you know, she wants to be buried, for example. Okay. Now, do you have any debts or any bills that they'll have to cover for you, like any credit cards? Yeah, might have like $500 in credit card bills. Okay. Do you have any medical expenses? No, I don't have any medical expenses. Okay. Now, do you own this home, Miss Mary, or do you have a mortgage on this home? Yes, I do pay a mortgage. Okay. So what most clients do as well, Miss Mary, is that they have something in place that's going to allow their children to also be able to cover a portion of the mortgage, or to be covered, or also to cover some of the mortgage payments while they're passed away, to be able to take care of that as well. Okay. So I'll look into that for you as well, Miss Mary. Okay. All right. Perfect. And what I'm doing here, guys, I'm just building the value of the life insurance, so she sees that it's not just for burial, it's to cover all of these other expenses as well, right? So then after I've said that, then I'm going to say, okay, Miss Mary, based on the information that you just told me, you're going to need coverage anywhere from 20 to 30,000. Is that along the line that you were looking for? And she's going to say yes. Okay. All right. Perfect. So what I'm going to do right now, Miss Mary, I'm going to go ahead and look at what it would be to cover 20, 25, and 30,000. Okay. But in order for you to qualify for these plans, you are going to need a valid driver's license and a valid checking account. Do you have both of those two things? And then Miss Mary's going to say, yes, she has both those two things, right? So like, I'm like, okay, perfect. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and show her those 3 options. So for example, if 20,000 is $97, 25,000 $120, 30,000 $144 for like a 70-year-old female, I'm going to show her those options, right? So then after I show her those options, I'm then going to go over with Mary the benefits of the plan, because I want to make sure that I'm covering my bases, and I want her to know that what she's getting is very valuable, right? So then I'm going to say, okay, Miss Mary, so we're going to be getting you a whole life coverage, okay? Now, the whole life coverage is going to be permanent coverage to age 100 or 120. It won't ever expire. Oh, I'm sorry. And you can get this, this explains the benefits, and you can get this on the Family First Life Southeast New Agent website. So I'm going to say it's going to be permanent coverage to age 100 or 120. Your death benefit is guaranteed to remain level. It won't ever go down. Your premiums are guaranteed to remain level, so those won't ever increase. It's going to pass on to whoever the beneficiary would be, and that would avoid them from having to go through probate and court. The death benefit is going to be paid out tax-free. It's also going to double in the event of like an accidental death, and also going to triple for a common carrier death. It's also going to cover you, Miss Mary, if you had like a terminal illness. You could actually pull out half of the value of the policy. With this policy, Miss Mary, as well, it's going to build cash value. So if you were ever in a bind and you needed to access some funds right away, you can take from it, but just make sure that you put it back into the policy, because if you don't do so, it's going to take from the death benefit. And if, Miss Mary, we were to get you approved for coverage today, it's going to go in effect immediately. And so that is what we don't know. But if we were to get you approved for coverage today, which one of these options would be best suited for you, Miss Mary? And then say she chooses the middle one. Okay, great. Miss Mary, if you could just grab me your driver's license and a copy of your voided check, and we're going to go ahead and submit the application into the underwriters, right? All right, Miss Mary. So then once they go and grab the copy of the driver's license and the voided check, then we're going to go ahead and do the application with Americo, right? Americo, always Americo first choice, because what we get 8%, right? So we go ahead and plug that information into Americo, and once we put that information into Americo, congratulations, Miss Mary got approved for coverage. So great, Miss Mary, you got approved for coverage with Americo. Congratulations. Now the next thing, guys, is of course letting them know what's going to happen next after they're approved, because it's not just about the sale, about you helping them there and then. It's about them letting them know exactly what the next step is going to be, right? So once they got approved with Americo, then you let them know that, listen, this policy is going to be drafted within the next 2 to 3 business days. Then they're going to send you out an actual copy of the policy in the mail, and you should be getting that within the next 2 weeks. So once you've gotten that policy in the mail in the next 2 weeks, Mary, please give me a call. If you have not gotten that policy in the next 2 weeks, please also give me a call. And then once you've gotten the policy and you checked it over, make sure that everything is correct. If there's anything at all that needs to be changed, please give me a call as well, because I'm going to be your agent. I'm going to be the one that will be stuck with you for life, right? So then once, you know, Miss Mary, you've helped her, the next thing that I would just ask Miss Mary is if she doesn't mind taking a selfie with me real quickly, because I take a selfie with all of my clients, and this, guys, builds the relationship with you and the client, and it makes it seem like, you know, you're their agent that's going to be there for them, and it's not transactional, right? So great, Miss Mary, we take a picture, we take a selfie, then we give a copy of that selfie, we text it to Miss Mary so that she can have a copy of it for her records, and then, you know, we can do whatever we want to do with that selfie, which is to, you know, post that selfie so that everybody can see that, you know, we were able to help Miss Mary as well with covering her insurance policy. So I hope